these are some few examples. We have the name calling, we have the ad nauseam, we have the appeal to fear, appeal to emotions, that's fear, sex, etc. There are testimonial, you have cat stacking, you have bandwagon, you have deification, you have the glittering generalities, etc. These are all forms of propaganda, and they come so in so many ways that it takes a trained brain to catch it out as this is propaganda. So maybe I'll quickly rush through, and then we see how all this is related to leadership and how it affects leadership. Okay, so the name calling is a very powerful political and religious tool. It is very close to the ad hominem, which means to attack personalities and not positional argument. You see, you will be having a serious debate with someone, and the principles are set forth. Instead of the person concentrating on the issues and the person and the principles at stake, they rather begin to attack the personality. They rather begin to call you names, tag you with names, so that they shift the debates, especially when they find out that they are losing the wisdom debate. They are losing the factual debate. They are losing grounds. Then quickly they want to fight a moral war. So what do? They quickly throw in mad, find something about the person speaking, and call names. So the whole argument moves from the issue at stake to personality discussions. Very cheap. That is it's a common propagandist tool by political persons, and it's you can see it all across the world. In Ghana, in Africa, people just use name calling. That is why today most of political leaders are tagged with names, so that even when they are saying something useful for our consumption and for our enlightenment, quickly people brush that aside and move to the cheap propaganda. That is what is called the name calling. It's propagandist, and that is what we need to address and call it propagandist. It's not the information. So we discuss an issue, and if instead of us going, oh, don't this is a madman, oh, this is that, he's sometimes tribal sentiments, name calling, very cheap. So that's what name calling can be. For instance, in Christianity, people call them sinners, fornicators. No, that's calling of people names has nothing to do with the issues at stake, and we need to be very careful. For instance, people call Jesus Christ son of Beelzebub, friend of sinners. You know what? Instead of concentrating on what Jesus Christ has said, or for instance his Sermon on the Mount, his Beatitudes, his heavy mind-boggling revelations, for his distractors, they left all that aside and started questioning. He's a bastard, he does not have a father, he's a carpenter's son, he's a demon. They begin to give you names so that the cheap minds will quickly avert their attention to that. That's what propaganda is, and that is name calling. You see, and sadly, this is one of the things that happened to this Athenian elite. That's what happened to Socrates. When Socrates started postulating and questioning the leadership, I mean, causing an awareness in the young people, in the youth, to question and seek accountability from their leaders, to find out if their leaders are really thinking. They called him names. They said, oh, this guy is here to corrupt the youth, and then they killed him. You know, so we should be very, very careful. The second propaganda tool, as I said, is the ad nauseam, the use of repetition, as is attributed to either Adolf Hitler or his benchman Goebbels. He says that if you tell a big lie enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually believe it to be true. You understand? People begin to repeat non-factual statements about people over and over. That's propagandists using the repetition technique. So they continue to hammer the lie until the lie seems like reality, and nobody seems to check the fact again. And it's very commonplace in our political landscape. People will say something over and over for years, but when you pin them down to the facts and ask them that, have you really checked the facts? Is that what it is? Is that the truth? Then they become awakened and say, wow, is that the case? It becomes an awakening. You see, so when you find out that people are repeating something for a particular gain, because it's a negative target for another person, be very careful. It's likely to be propagandist. Then the next one is appeal to fear. This is very extreme, common in Christian evangelism. You know, the Bible says a lot of things about personal growth, about business, about how a country can change its leadership, how leadership should behave, how we should build the walls of Jerusalem or the walls of Ghana. You see, the Bible is made up of 66 books, and it is replete with serious information and revelation. Yet, it was commonplace on the Christian evangelists to stand somewhere and all that they talk about is hellfire. Why do they talk about that? They just appeal to fear. They don't, you see, to try to make somebody convert to Christianity based on the fact of hellfire is cheap. You are appealing to fear. You play on the emotions of people and their fears so that they take your side. No. Appeal to fear is so common, where people want you to take a decision and they make sure that fear is what they sell. You see, and it is common in Christianity. You will find out that as the evangelicals preach hellfire at their camp meetings, the charismatics concentrated on the blessings of Abraham. So we call them the prosperity preachers. No, that is what they decided to. It is also right in the Bible. It depends on what they wanted to achieve. And the Catholics concern themselves with sacrament and penance for sins. Pentecostals are interested in tongues and prayers, while the Protestants say that the just shall live by faith, sola fide, as said by Martin Luther. And the Sabbatarians and the millennials believe that there is 1,000 years. So everybody has taken a portion of the Bible and concentrate to sell a message to win them to their church, and not necessarily to enlighten them to live a good life to benefit themselves and society. And if God so pleases, He blesses us or takes us to where He is. That is a decision left to God. That is not a decision that any man can take. Yet, propagandist theories operate in the church. Sometimes even the minister, that they don't know they are being propaganda, but that's what you are doing by appealing to fear. Another well-known advertising technique is called the testimonial, and that is absolutely propagandist. Advertisers will bring people to come and give testimonies of a product or a service. Sometimes stars, famed people, sometimes they have not even used the product before, yet they stand on television and give wild testimonies to influence your loyalty or to influence your decision of purchasing or patronizing that service. And that is equally propagandist. And then the most dangerous type of propaganda is the car stacking. It is an attempt to present the most desirable facts to you. So it's like playing cards. Now, I shuffle the cards and carefully place certain cards on top that I want you to see. When it comes to car stacking, I present the facts. There is a whole group of facts on an issue, but I decide to present a set of facts which are favorable to me so that you may take my side. It is common with statistics. People use data and statistics. Politicians use it a lot to deceive the masses. So for instance, if you think that the macroeconomic indicators are in their favor, like unemployment, or let's say employment issues, population issues, the economics of aggregates, and then they begin to quote the GDP, they begin to quote the figures. But if it is not in their favor, they won't quote it.